Hey folks, and welcome back to West Yorkshire Retro Gamer. Match review time. The review, I have to apologise, has come out a little bit late. Just had an extremely busy few days, that's all. But it's here. And it's not a bad thing in a way, because it means that all the teams have played 9 games in the Premier League. So I thought we'll start with the table, and then look at the Leeds match individually. So, after all the teams have played 9 games this season so far, Leeds find themselves in 15th place, having played 9, won 3, drawn 2, lost 4, scoring 9, conceding 14, and a -5 goal difference and 11 points. The form looking like win, draw, loss, loss, win, and the next game being against Brighton. In the end, Leeds were able to beat West Ham 2-1. A couple of goals in the first half from Brendan Aronson after about 3 minutes, and then Joe Rodon just a few minutes later heading in a corner. As far as West Ham were concerned, they got a goal in injury time through Fernandez, the young lad from Southampton. Heavily bought as well, about 40 million quid. Ugh. Idiots. This leaves West Ham in an extremely dire position, and the only reason it's not more dire is because Wolves are currently more dire. So West Ham find themselves having played just nine games played, but having found only 1 win and 1 draw out of that, 7 losses. Only scoring 7 and conceding a whopping 20 goals, -13 goal difference, 4 points on the board, and only 1 draw and 4 losses in the last 5. It is pretty dire for West Ham United. Now, if you look at Wolves, and I'll just point this out, I don't know how clear this will be on screen, but basically Burnley beat Wolves 3-2 today. They lost to Sunderland on the 18th of October 2-0, and they lost to Leeds 3-1 back on the 20th of September. That means that Wolves, having played the 3 promoted teams, have lost to the 3 promoted teams. This is not really the kind of start that Wolves would have expected, and they find themselves on a measly 2 points. Now, from what I can gather, I think Wolves offered Pereira, the manager, a new contract at the start of the season, and this is how he rewards that, by finding that his team at this moment in time, albeit still very early on, are possibly not cut out for the Premier League as things stand. West Ham United, not much better. Wolves are on 2 points, West Ham are on 4 points. West Ham actually have a slightly worse goal difference than Wolves. They're scoring less than a goal a game. They're conceding nearly. They're conceding over 2 goals a game, just about. Well, no, they are. Yeah, they're conceding over 2 goals a game. That's just going to result in losses and losses and losses if that kind of form keeps up. And so, as things stand at the moment, you've got to say that the two teams beginning with W, they ain't getting the W's. They're getting the L's. They're going down. They've got to turn this around now. Wolves have Fulham next, who are not out of this relegation picture. They find themselves in a pretty measly situation as well, in 17th place, and only 3 points above the relegation zone. But Wolves need to find some points from somewhere, and if Wolves can beat Fulham in the next game, maybe Wolves then start to go towards the area where they need to. West Ham have got Newcastle next, who have had a bit of an indifferent season themselves. It looks like they've had 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, so a little bit of everything for Newcastle this season. They're even very close to having scored 9 goals and conceded 9 goals and conceded 8. So an exceedingly mixed season for Newcastle so far. Very, very mixed. So, yeah, as far as the relegation pitch is concerned, I mean, again, it's very early days, but I see Wolves and West Ham going down. They've both, well, Wolves have stuck with the same manager so far. West Ham changed the manager by getting rid of Potter and bringing in Santo. Forest have changed the manager. They ditched. Crumbs. Who did they start the season with? Well, they've got Deitch now, haven't they? Because I think, am I right in saying they started the season with Postecoglou? Or did they bring Postecoglou in? Oh no, they started with Santo, didn't they? Then they brought Postecoglou in. Both of those have gone. Now they brought in Deitch. 3 managers in space of 9 games. That's just mad. We know Marinakis is a bit of a weird one. Bit eccentric, makes very strange decisions as an owner. But, you know, this is possibly part of the reason as to why Nottingham Forest are currently in the relegation zone. The ownership of having a mare. Yeah, I can't explain it. You know, and Nottingham Forest's next opponents are Manure, who somehow have actually turned their season around and have only got 1 loss in the last 5 games. I don't know where that's come from all of a sudden. And they're scoring a lot, aren't they? Look at that mega expensive strike force that they assembled this summer. Looks as if maybe they're starting to find the form, but again, defensively, still poor. Both Man United and Liverpool. Look at it. Both of those are scoring a lot, but they are conceding a lot. You know, the amount of goals conceded would be bottom half form. It would not be top half form at all. But they are scoring enough to just about stay afloat. So, where does this leave Leeds at this point? Leeds' next match is against Brighton. Not a team that Leeds have a good record in recent seasons against. Brighton, like Newcastle, have had a very mixed season with the 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. Scoring a lot, but they've conceded a lot. So maybe, you know, if Leeds, because Leeds haven't scored anywhere near as much, but they haven't, you know, they're actually ever so slightly better defensively as far as goals conceded are concerned. So maybe if Leeds were to kind of clutch onto anything, you know, could that be the opening? There's not a lot of difference in points between Leeds and Brighton so far. Just that one difference of a loss and a draw between the two. So there's not a lot in it. There's just that difference in scoring goals, which Brighton clearly can do reasonably well, but they do concede. So this has to be something that Leeds need to try and exploit if at all possible, while still trying to keep things tight at the back. So we've kind of worked this one back to front on this particular attempt. So let's have a look at the game. We've got our matches. So we're using FOTMOB here. By date, go back a date. Here we go. So let's have a look at the Leeds versus West Ham match. As I say, Aronson and Rodon scoring after 3 and 15 minutes respectively, with Fernandes scoring in the 90th to make things exceedingly nervy. Good solid attendance at Ellen Road again. You know, according to this, 98% of the stadium was full. So really good, you know, really good attendance for a Friday night. So let's have a look at the lineups. My cat Kirby decided that she wants to hang out for a bit. So as you can see there, Lucas Perry returned to Leeds in goal, replacing Darlow. The back four had a change as well, with Strout dropping to the bench, being replaced by new signing Jakobiol. Bogle and Goodmanson kept their places along with Rodon. Rodon's in scoring form this season, which is very strange. Leeds fans are not used to Joe Rodon being a goal scorer, and he's already got 3 this season for club and country, 2 for Leeds and 1 for Wales. If he keeps this form up, absolutely fantastic, because he'd only managed about 1 goal in all the time that he'd been at Leeds previously. In the midfield there was a change as well, so Anton Stark dropped to the bench with Oughton Naka coming in. Ampadu and Longstaff kept their places in the team, and then we had Noah Okafor coming back again, Brendan Aronson and Dominic Calvert-Lewin keeping their places in the 11. Okafor and Goodmanson were very, very good on that left hand side. Very good. The two of them are making a real Premier League quality left side, at Leeds United. And when you consider that the two of them put together cost a combined 30 million, it's a bargain. For this level of expenditure, it's an absolute bargain. That left side, it's fantastic. Really, really good to watch. Unfortunately, Goodmanson took a knock to the lower back. Apparently, it's just bruising, so he should be okay for the next match. But he looked in real pain, and eventually had to be subbed. And then Okafor, again, his fitness is still a bit hit and miss at the moment, so he had to be subbed as well. And taking away the qualities of Goodmanson and Okafor, it did then show a slight lack of quality on our left hand side, with the replacements that we brought on. Again, not knocking the replacements, it's just how good Goodmanson and Okafor have been so far. Brendan Aronson, excellent, really good. The FotMob's giving him the man of the match, and deservedly so, I would say, overall. Joe Rodon again might be up there as well, and not just because he scored. I thought Tanaka first half was good, dropped off in the second. Didn't think it was Longstaff or Ampadu's best games, albeit, I'll retract that with Ampadu. Because Ampadu, as well as his defensive duties, he had 2 moments where he had these fantastic runs through the middle of the pitch, just cut through West Ham's midfield like a hot knife through butter. It was really cool to watch. And Aronson, he had a fantastic run cutting into the middle, and then he just bombed through. A little bit of tricks to get past a couple of West Ham players, got a really good shot away, and the deflection took it onto the bar. Definitely deserved a goal from that attack. It was really cool, really good to watch. And I think for most of the game, Leeds just played with a real nice amount of confidence. You can tell that West Ham, despite having some quality in that front line, with Somerville, Paquetá and Bowen, you would argue that they are missing a really good proper number 9. But if you have Somerville and Bowen on the wings, with Paquetá in a 10, and then if you've got a good striker up front, maybe even someone like a Calvert-Lewin or a Metcha, that Leeds have got, someone that can hold the ball up and bring those other 3 into play, maybe West Ham get themselves out of the trouble that they're in. Fulcrum hasn't been the number 9 that they were hoping for. He hasn't even scored yet, and he was injured for this match. So Nuno Santo's got a lot of work to do at the Hammers. There's no doubt about that. As far as Farker at Leeds is concerned, he just needs to keep plugging away the way that he has done, and try and get these results against teams that are likely to be in and around, well, at least the bottom half. Leeds as subs, we brought on Justin Harrison and Gruev. None of them did much wrong, to be honest. I thought they were all okay, actually, in fairness. They just didn't have they just didn't have what what the guys that they were replacing had in terms of the overall performance. As you can see, Justin and Harrison came on around that half-time kind of mark, and so they both got good game time, which obviously will be good for their fitness. So that's positive. Dan James and Lucas Metcher came on very late on the 87th and weren't really able to impact the game, unfortunately. Leeds did concede a goal to one of West Ham's midfielders, Matheus Fernandes, and he had 25 minutes to work some magic, and he did. The cross that they put in was good, the header was good. It was a decent goal from West Ham's perspective. Thankfully for Leeds, it was just a bit too late on. So, this now really keeps things ticking over, I think. In terms of the subs that did not come on, you had the two sub-goalkeepers, Darlow and Hermansen, Julio, Strout, the other Rodriguez, Stack, Marshall and Pirro. None of those made appearances. They were missing Mavropanos, Earthy and Fulkrug, with Leeds just having Will Nonto unavailable. So, this is how it all kind of panned out, and ultimately Leeds did enough, and that's all that's required. Let's have a look at the stats. At the end of the day, Leeds' expected goals was more, and they kind of dominated the whole shots and chances section. West Ham had more possession, but didn't do anything with it, or not enough with it. They even had more passes. A lot more passes, actually, which is a little rare. Leeds tend to be a reasonably decent passing side. West Ham committed more fouls, but they had more corners. Again, got to credit Leeds for defending the corners well. West Ham didn't defend the corners well and conceded a goal from one, whereas Leeds didn't concede from a corner. So, fair play. Again, Leeds dominating the majority of the shot department and dominating all of the expected goals department. Defensively, Leeds dominated a lot of the defence as well, which shows it was quite a battling performance in the end, and possibly shows that West Ham weren't necessarily out of it as such. The West Ham kept plugging away. From a passer's point of view, I think West Ham kind of dominated quite a bit of that, didn't they, by the looks of it. But again, you can pass the ball around all you like if you don't do something with it. What are you going to do? 3 yellow cards each, no reds. We've gone to the individual player stats. Aronson, Rodon. Again, the majority of these ones in green are going to be Leeds players, which, by all accounts, it looks as if it is. Let's get rid of that privacy policy cookies thing. I don't know. Using FOTMob here. So yeah, you've got Aronson, Rodon, Longstaff, Beal, the top 4, all Leeds players. 2 Leeds players getting over 8 as well. It's not bad, is it? Bowen, the best of West Ham's. Yeah, I would say so. I think he carried a lot of it. He was the West Ham captain for the day as well, and I think that he probably, from going forward perspective, he definitely looked as if he was the one that could make something happen for them. I would have to question as to whether Jared Bowen will still be at West Ham at the end of this season. I think they'll struggle to keep him. Maybe a team closer to mid-table would be a team where he's not just going to be a big fish in a small pond. As far as the quality of the squad's concerned, if he joins a squad where he's kind of in the middle, that might suit him. And yeah, he definitely looked like the most likely. Fernandes, when he came on, I mean, he took his goal well. He rose up above the defence and got a very nice header on. But aside from that, I don't know. They don't have a lot of legs in the midfield, don't West Ham? They look very slow. Now, whether Fernandes can add a bit of pace to that, I'm not sure. I mean, they did bring on midfield substitutes, and when they did, it did kind of improve West Ham. So the starting midfield just didn't have any legs at all with Irving or was it Irving and Souček? They're very sluggish, very sluggish. So after Bowen and Fernandes, it was back to Leeds players again. So Perry, Ampadu, Bogle, then Paqueta. I think Paqueta should have been sent off. Giving it too much of that. Just excuse my French, but just shut the fuck up. And when you get yellow carded, shut the fuck up even more, right? Because you're going to get yourself sent off. If that had been a Leeds player, I'd have been fuming. I'd have been fuming at him and saying, you're going to get your ass sent off and then it's going to be a detriment to the rest of your teammates. West Ham fans should be absolutely livid with Paqueta's behaviour. He needs to shut up and stop running the risk of being red carded. Right, little turd. I wouldn't put him in Hannibal Mejbri category, but he's not far off. There's no doubt he's a good player, but you can't go gassing on like that. Just know when to shut up and get on with it. So that kind of completed the greens, the oranges now. Quite a few of those. So a bit of a more even mix there between Leeds and West Ham players. Anyone in the reds? No, but there was a few below 5. So the ones below 5 were all West Ham players. And then again, James and Metro don't get a rating because they were only on for 3 minutes. So it's like, yeah, you can't judge that really, can you? So there you have it, folks. In retrospect, take all statistics out of the way. This is what matters. Leeds get the win. Leeds get 3 points. Leeds stay out of the relegation zone. I couldn't be happier, honestly. We are adapting to this league. We are proving that we belong in the Premier League again. As I've said before, Leeds United, they are a Premier League club. The team, that remains to be seen. But as a club, they deserve to be in the Premier League. Their current team is a bottom half team, but it's a top half club, and that that's how I view things right now. You look at how the table's kind of forming. Arsenal, they're becoming very difficult to beat. Only having one draw and one loss with the other games wins. Bournemouth, they're playing out the bloody skins, aren't they? And here's the irony: Leeds should have beaten Bournemouth if it weren't for a late equaliser from Bournemouth. There, Leeds would have beaten them. Tottenham, they were maybe a little fortunate to beat Leeds. As well. Arsenal weren't fortunate. I think 3-0 would have been a more fairer reflection, but they still walloped us, whichever way you look at it. I think 2 of the goals were preventable. The other 3, it is what it is. We haven't played Sunderland yet, haven't played Man City or Man U yet, haven't played Liverpool yet, haven't played Villa yet, haven't played Chelsea yet. So, we've still got a lot of tough games in terms of league position coming up. Don't think we've played Palace yet either, have we? So, yeah, there's some tough games. Got them all to come. I mean, out of the 9 that we've played Wolves, played West Ham, played Fulham, should have got some points there. Played Burnley, that was a weird game, really weird. We beat Everton, we drew in Newcastle, and then lost to Tottenham and Bournemouth and Arsenal. Yeah. So in terms of how it's looking after 9 games, the teams that we've played that are currently in the bottom half are the ones that we've got the points from, and the ones that we've lost to are currently in the top. Well, they're currently in the top 3. Aside from Burnley, that's the one weird one. But the other 3 teams, the other 3 losses are the current top 3 in the league. So if you look at it from that point of view, it's like, right, okay, well, yeah, fine. And as I say, on another day, we probably beat Bournemouth and Tottenham. We've never beaten Arsenal the way we played in that one, but the Bournemouth and Tottenham games, we were well in it. We were absolutely well in it. So, yeah, that's my take on it, folks. Leave your comments down below about what how you feel the Leeds season is going so far. Do you think that Leeds can stay up? Do you think that all 3 promoted clubs could stay up? Leeds and Burnley occupy 15th and 16th at the moment, and Sunderland occupy 4th. I don't personally think that Sunderland will stay that high up, and I can't see. I know it's early on. Maybe ask me after they've played every team once, and then I might be able to decide if Sunderland are going to finish in the top half or not. And again, same with Leeds and Burnley in terms of whether they've got a chance of staying up. But when you look at it right now, after 9 games, as I say, it's not the worst reading in the world for Leeds. They're on -5, and again, if that Arsenal game didn't exist in this equation, we'd actually be on a very even goal difference. So that one game in isolation really does tarnish what we've done a little bit, just from a table and statistics point of view. The season as a whole, I think Leeds have been very competitive by that one game. So if we're competitive in 8 of the 9 games, in each block of 9, I think we'll be absolutely fine. We do need to still score a few more goals. I mean, we've got a couple against West Ham, that's great. We've got 3 against Wolves, that's great. But they're teams at the bottom. Can we be a little bit better against teams that are a little bit higher than us? I'm not suggesting we're going to wipe the floor with any of the rich boys, but if we can just be a little bit more clinical, a little bit more prolific, it would not go amiss. But right now, if we finish 15th at the end of the season, frig yeah, I take that right now. Absolutely take that right now. I still believe we will finish 17th with 40 points. I maintain that prediction, and if things keep going the way they are, I'll still maintain that prediction. And that'd be fine with me. Staying in the Premier League is the priority for Leeds United this season. That is a fact. Just stay up. By hook or by crook, by any means necessary, stay up. Do that, we're fine, because then we can use the Premier League money then that comes in. We can spend a bit more, get a bit more quality into the squad. Start investing a little bit more into the academy as well. Start bringing through more of our own players, and get ourselves established as a Premier League team again, not just a Premier League club. The size of the club overall is Premier League standard, top half Premier League standard. The size of the quality of the team right now, so physically the players and maybe even the manager we've got right now is bottom half. But for this season, that's fine, as long as it doesn't include the bottom 3. So I'm going to leave it there, folks. We've reached half an hour, so yeah, I'll call it on that one. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Leeds United season so far after 9 games. I think we're doing okay. I really do. I think we're doing all right, and it was a good performance against West Ham for the majority. So let's hope that illness goes away, and because there was a lot of players feeling pretty poorly. So let's hope that goes away in time for the Brighton game. We desperately need as fit a squad as possible for Brighton, because they are a bit of a bogey team for us. So let's hope we can book that trend. In the meantime, folks, big thanks for watching. Do please like the video. Do please hit the hype button. Do please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more football and video game content. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.